In life, we spend so much time trying to control everything. We want events to go our way. We expect people to behave how we imagine. And when reality doesn't match our expectations, we suffer. But what if the problem isn't the world? What if the problem is our desire to control it? This idea challenges everything you believe about happiness. Because true peace doesn't come from changing reality, it comes from accepting it. In today's video, we'll break down this powerful Stoic principle and show you how letting go of control can actually give you more power than ever before. As a young man, Marcus had a deep passion for philosophy and spent much of his time studying the great works of wisdom. He was particularly drawn to the teachings of the Stoics, a school of philosophy that emphasized self-control, acceptance, and living in accordance with nature. However, fate had a different plan for Marcus. When his uncle, the Emperor Antoninus Pius, had no sons to succeed him, Marcus was chosen as his heir. At first, he was overwhelmed by the weight of his new position, but he soon realized that it was an opportunity to put his philosophical beliefs into practice on a grand scale and that he must accept nature's demands. As emperor, Marcus faced many challenges, both external and internal. The Roman Empire was vast, stretching from Spain to the Middle East, and it was constantly beset by wars, rebellions, and other forms of strife. In addition, the empire was plagued by corruption, bureaucracy, and other forms of malfeasance. Despite these challenges, Marcus remained true to his philosophical beliefs. He believed in the power of acceptance, recognizing that he could not change the fact that he was now the emperor of Rome, but he could control his response to this new reality. He made a conscious decision to approach his role with wisdom and grace, using his power to help others and promote virtue and wisdom throughout the empire. Marcus himself was also a prolific writer, and his works have been preserved to this day. His most famous work is Meditations, a collection of personal writings that offer insights into his philosophy and his approach to leadership. In Meditations, Marcus writes about the importance of living in accordance with nature, accepting the world as it is, and cultivating inner peace. He recognizes the impermanence of life and the inevitability of death, urging us to focus on the present moment and make the most of the time we have. Throughout his reign, Marcus faced many challenges, both external and internal. One of the most significant challenges came in the form of the Germanic tribes that lived on the empire's borders. These tribes were a constant threat, raiding and pillaging Roman territories and posing a serious military threat. Marcus recognized the importance of dealing with this threat, and he personally led his armies on several campaigns against the Germanic tribes. His leadership and military prowess were on full display during these campaigns, and he earned the respect and admiration of his soldiers. Despite his successes on the battlefield, Marcus remained committed to his philosophical beliefs. He saw every challenge as an opportunity for growth and self-improvement, recognizing that even the most difficult situations could be used as a means of cultivating inner peace and wisdom. In addition to his military campaigns, Marcus worked tirelessly to improve the lives of his subjects. He reformed the legal system, rooting out corruption and ensuring that justice was served. He also promoted education, encouraging the study of philosophy and other subjects. Marcus's commitment to promoting wisdom and virtue was reflected in his personal life as well. He was known for his humility, his kindness, and his willingness to listen to others. He eschewed the trappings of power and wealth, choosing instead to live a simple life focused on his philosophical pursuits. Despite the challenges he faced and the responsibilities he bore, Marcus accepted whatever fate had in store for him and tried his best to do good. Interpretation of the rule. The Stoic rule, don't seek for everything to happen as you wish it would, but rather wish that everything happens as it actually will, belongs to the Stoic discipline of perception because it emphasizes the importance of accepting the reality of the present moment and letting go of our emotional attachments to specific outcomes or expectations. At its core, this quote is about letting go of our attachments to specific outcomes or expectations. It is a call to release the need to control everything in our lives and to focus instead on how we can respond to events in a positive and productive way. The Stoics believed that the universe is indifferent to our desires and that events beyond our control will inevitably occur. Therefore, they emphasize the importance of cultivating an attitude of acceptance and non-resistance towards the events that transpire in our lives. The Stoics believe that we can achieve inner peace and contentment by accepting what happens as it is. When we let go of the need to control everything, we can flow with the currents of life and embrace the present moment with an open mind and heart. This mindset allows us to make the most of what comes our way and to find joy and meaning in even the most challenging of circumstances. It is important to note that acceptance does not mean passivity or resignation. Instead, it means focusing on what we can control, our reactions, attitudes, and choices. By accepting what happens as it is, we free ourselves from the burden of trying to control everything, and we allow ourselves to focus on what truly matters, living a virtuous and meaningful life. Furthermore, this Stoic rule reminds us that our expectations and desires can often lead us astray. When we attach ourselves to specific outcomes, we risk becoming disappointed or frustrated when things do not go as planned. By wishing for reality to unfold as it actually will, we free ourselves from these attachments and allow ourselves to embrace the present moment with an open and accepting heart. Of course, this is not always easy. It can be challenging to let go of our attachments and expectations, especially when we have invested a lot of time and energy into a particular outcome. However, the Stoics believe that with practice, we can cultivate an attitude of acceptance and resilience that allows us to navigate even the most difficult of situations with grace and equanimity. In conclusion, the Stoic rule, don't seek for everything to happen as you wish it would, but rather wish that everything happens as it actually will, is a powerful reminder of the importance of acceptance and resilience in the face of adversity. By letting go of our attachments and expectations and focusing instead on accepting the present moment, we can cultivate a sense of inner peace and contentment that allows us to live a more harmonious life. Fate is like the universe, it is impartial and doesn't care about our desires or preferences. We must learn to accept and work with what comes our way. Marcus Aurelius. Implementation of the rule. Take a moment to reflect on a recent situation in your life where you found yourself resisting or struggling against what was happening. Maybe it was a difficult conversation with a loved one, an unexpected setback at work, or a frustrating traffic jam. Wherever it was, recall how you felt in that moment, the emotions that arose, the thoughts that raced through your mind, and the physical sensations in your body. Now, imagine that you could go back to that moment with a new perspective, one of acceptance and non-resistance. Instead of fighting against what was happening, imagine that you could simply observe it without judgment. Notice how this new perspective changes how you feel. Perhaps you feel a sense of peace or relief, or maybe you feel more open and curious about the situation. Finally, take this new perspective with you into your day-to-day life. When you encounter challenging situations, try to practice acceptance and non-resistance. Remember that nature has its demands and that by accepting what happens as it is, you free yourself from the burden of trying to control everything. Trust in the wisdom of the universe and focus on what you can control, your reactions, attitudes, and choices. And maybe that's the real power, not forcing life to go your way, but learning to flow with it. Because when you stop fighting reality, you stop suffering and start living. As Epictetus teaches us, peace begins the moment you accept what is. If this changed your perspective even a little, make sure to subscribe, because in the next video we'll dive deeper into another powerful Stoic rule that can completely transform the way you think. Until then, learn to accept, learn to adapt, and stay strong.